Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Women's Coffee Club. So grateful to have all of you here this morning. And our presenter, Nikki, is still not here, so we decided to go ahead and just discuss whatever we want to discuss. We have several of you who are new here, and Ria just shared that she's writing a book about bullying, beyond bullying, and for teenagers. And I was just asking if anybody has any response to that. And then I think we'll just go around and let everyone share whatever they want to share. So Suzanne, go ahead. I know this topic is near
Yeah,
and
this
dear to your
is
heart.
very definitely part of my genetic makeup, but it's interesting because it was more in elementary school than it was in high school. By the time I got to high school, I discovered that I was into music. I am high functioning autistic, Ria. So as Asperger's and being having the yes and no parts of autism. Yes, I was bullied. Yes, I was the last one off the bench in gym class. Um, but I also had the music, as I say. So what I found is when I was younger in elementary school was brutal for me with bullying because kids don't understand at that age what it means to be different and accept differences. As I went up through high school, I finally found my group, my niche, and got into feeling more comfortable and feeling like I could go from group to group. But yeah, when it's the reverse, it's torture. It's torture because the kids are starting to already have hormonal issues, and not issues, that's a bad word, hormonal differences. And then to be bullied on top of that, that has to be tough. That has to be tough. I'm so grateful that by the time I hit 8th grade, I was starting to come into my own.
Yes.
That's my share.
Thank you, Suzanne, for that. And anyone else who could relate to the topic of bullying and would like to say something, go ahead. Well, if not, we could just switch to a different topic. Anybody else want to share anything? Anybody writing a book or would like to write a book? Amy, I see Amy. You're muted, Amy.
I saw
Yeah.
somebody with their hand up. It was
Yeah, that
I
was
couldn't see
me.
their name. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
She
Yeah,
had her hand up.
just ever so quickly, I can relate to both spaces, the bullying for the being different, as well as I have a learning um I have a learning glitch that I've learned how to reverse engineer on to help myself reach better than the grasp of all the negativity that had especially been going on in my school life, and other waywards to do with quote unquote what I look like. Um, I have I have with me, not defining me in indeed and absolute, the learning component, which is dyscalculia, and I was happily diagnosed of it when I was 31 inside of a college program, and made for a very different walk of life ever since, even though there's been a lot of other things to that I've accumulated to walk through life with, working with it. The reverse engineer bright side of having dyscalculia, to wrap it up, is it helps me to have ability to open up and receive, fighting for myself, literacies that go way beyond just financial gain for having such a quote unquote ailment going on in my life. So, and I have found out very late in life, albeit it would have been helpful, earlier, of course, that I am a phenom, and I do not say that egotistically. In fact, it's quite hard to be one. And as a result of it, I'm having to work with coaches, happily so. And I'm writing a book about a person that was met way back in middle school, who, getting to be about a year ago, was ran into um, discovering, just having one of my literacies come through to me, which is medical intuition, that this person has dissociative disorder, and it carologically puts them in a freeze response. And find that it's sad, um, but it's also fascinating. And I think that there's probably not enough books out on the market that talk about such a wayward of such a thing. So along with being bullied, really relate, and writing a book about dissociative disorder that carologically shows up as a freeze response, and the utmost of why it's a painful weight to keep about oneself in life is it will keep you, by a lot of waywards, illiterate, not just not to do with just like you can't read, you can't feel and sense your way through your human embodiment's experience, and you have every bit the ability and innate right to, if you just knew that you could. So that's what the book is up mostly point is going to be about. You can get through it.
Wow, Jen, you've gone through a lot in life, and I think that there's no place for bullying. The thing is,
Absolutely.
you're diagnosed at age 31. Many of us, each of us have our own disability in our own way. It may not be something that can be diagnosed or anything. Even people with fear, you grow up with all these limiting beliefs from your past and all your challenges growing up, and that's nothing that can be diagnosed about that. So each of us have our own challenges. So I really appreciate your sharing this and wanting to write a book about it so that other people, other kids who have, you know, I mean, even in this room, in this meeting right now, I can tell you, we could go around the room and each of us have our own challenges in life. So it's not just, but I really, I'm grateful that you're here and that you're sharing this with everyone. Suzanne, you have your hands up.
Thanks.
Oh, no. I was just
No.
gonna say I had my book out on relationships, that's all.
Okay. Ria, I think I see you wanting to say something.
Yes, that's true. I was looking for yeah, because I wanted to ask Jane and the First Lady, sorry, I did not write her name, the question, were they bullied all their school period, or did they find a way to step out? And well, the First Lady was saying that she had music, so I imagine that that was a passion, and so it was softer in one way that she found her way. But about Jane, was she bullied all the time, just until the end of the school period, or not? And if not, what happened?
In school, I got bullied right up to about 17. And there's been bits and pieces across my thus far adultifying life where in which I've been bullied as well. My most recent had to do with how we transacted from one house into another. So it's been there, but if I had not had the therapeutics from the neck up, as well as what I currently do and forward, the neck down, incorporated with what I've learned from the neck up therapeutics and felt sense embodiments of work, Peter Levine and company, and a couple of other people, Bessel van der Kolk. I I got tools, skills, and better feeling about myself doing those embodiments of work, the way at with which was even bigger than what I could have taken logically, linearly through talk only thought therapies. So
So it's a feeling who was really very important. Feeling in
absolutely.
your body and loving yourself.
Levine, Van de
Thank
Kolk, and others helped me to learn how to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yo,
Thank
yeah.
you so much. So
It can
Ria,
be done.
yeah. So go ahead, Ria, or is that all your share?
That was my question. Yeah, that was my question, because it's interesting to know what happens with the people who are bullied. I didn't research on it by psychologists here in France who work with children or bullied children. And I talked as well to parents with bullied children and victims. But you know, every case is different, so it still is. It's important to know what happens, and if they can step out, what happened that they could step out, because it's very difficult to step out the victim role.
Perseverance.
Yes, thank you for that.
Perseverance.
Yeah,
But you
Ria.
need the tools. You need the tools for that.
And anyone else wants to respond regarding bullying or even feeling low, even in your own home? Sometimes that this is something you experience, not just in school, sometimes even within your own family, that you're considered less than or not smart enough or bullied within your own family. So I see Lovelyn with your hands up. Go ahead, Lovelyn.
Actually, I wanted to speak about bullying at work by adults, by managers. And personally, I've gone through it before by my manager for like 5 years. And I was wondering why he was behaving the way he was behaving until I took a closer look. Most bullies, especially the adult bullies, have been bullied in the past. If you look at them, you notice that they've been bullied in the past. But when I looked at my manager, I noticed that he felt like as if he's not enough. And I used to ask myself, but you earn so much money, why are you behaving the way you're behaving? But he feels like he's inadequate. He feels like as if he hasn't achieved much in life. And then he became a bully. Up to now, he still bullies people at work. He's still a red flag. I don't know why they've never seen him, that he's a red flag, but there are others there that are in pain and they end up becoming bullies in order to release the pain that they've been through before or the bullying that they've faced in the past. So that's what I wanted to contribute.
Thank you. Thank you
Absolutely
for
true.
that, Lovelyn. And oftentimes it's a reflection of the other person. They're projecting their unhappiness or their being inadequate to the people that you know, they feel like it's their power to control other people that way. So
Yeah.
thank you for your share. Suzanne, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to make sure that everybody has a chance to talk. That's very true. When you just said that with the family, that's ongoing, and I didn't want to take up too much time. I wanted to let everybody have a talk, but yeah, definitely bullying in the family, feeling less than, and knowing that where it comes from. I was bullied by my spouse, and then I understood why he was acting the way he was, and I kind of disempowered him from having a hold on me. And now, as everybody knows, I've been dealing with a controlling mother, and now that I really have started to put together her pieces, I've been able to disempower her hold on me. So yeah, a lot of it comes from just taking self-awareness. And I guess, Ria, you were wondering what the motive was to get me out of it. Is being asked to be very introspective, or at least I am. I mean, whether or not it's Aspie or not, I'm very introspective and asking myself on a regular basis, even when I was young, what do I need to feel better? What do I need to feel better? And that's when the love of music came in. That's when the love of finding people who accepted me came in. I didn't know I was Aspie until 51, but I went through all of the traits. And for me, Aspie is a superpower, not a syndrome.
Love that, Suzanne. Thank you for your share. Anyone else wants to respond to that? Jane Fairchild. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to have you here. Do you want to say something about bullying or even feeling less than?
Sure. Yeah, I've been out in a couple 100 miles from here at my son's house the last couple of weeks. His wife went into labor but did not deliver, and then preeclampsia. So yeah, so I've missed everyone. But the bullying, you know, I guess I've been kind of lucky that the bullies were at bay growing up for the most part. But I think that there is like a more, that's the overt kind of bullying. There's also that like under the radar kind of subterfuge, a passive aggressive kinds of people that's how they exert. They'll strike and then go, oh, no, I didn't mean that. And so, not that I have much of that in my life, but so even that I think needs to be called out. And, but I think the most important thing is to say, anybody who hurts us or tries to hurt us, I mean, they're hurting themselves, and it's really a cry for help. Now, whether or not they want to step up to the plate and do what they have to do to heal themselves, that's another situation, because, you know, we just have people in our midst that, yeah, sure, I'll call what I've got an ailment or something I need to overcome, but they don't want to do anything about it and take action. So I think that's the important thing. I think we can all be loyal to those, whether they're in our family or in our path, that sincerely say, you know what, I want to stop the cycle. So yeah, so I guess we owe it to ourselves to empower ourselves, like, you know, Suzanne, you were saying, and really take a stand and say, I love me, and I love me enough. And, you know, you may say you love me, but you certainly don't act it, and you certainly don't like me. You know, your behavior is everything. Words, right? So.
Thank you, Jane. It's so true. And I think, like I said before, that abuse or bullying or abuse could be, you know, at school when you're a kid, or it could be in your family, it could be your spouse or anybody in your relationship, you know, your boyfriend or your husband. I had one that I finally decided he was a narcissist, that everything you can't do anything right. It's just like it's always wrong. And at a point where I said I can't be in this, because I was mad all the time, and it drove me nuts. And finally I said I have to leave. It's you know, but it's sad. Sometimes you could reconcile. I think you know, we always think that, oh, it's about me, but it's really not. A lot of time it's about that person. They don't have the self-esteem, and they project it onto you, that you know, you become, you know, I think all of us, the awareness thing is so important, so we don't feel like we're a victim, right? So Amy, I see your hands up. Go ahead.
I was up first.
Wow, oh, I'm sorry, was somebody else? I thought I heard somebody say they had their hand up first.
Jane, you have your hands first. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, just ever so quickly. I realized that in this embodiment, in this planet, everybody will not own their BS belief system, negative especially, and do the work, finding out that there's something not so positive to add to their future bettering into best self. And those that will be found out need to be left alone, including family. There really has to be a stab in the ground that if you're going to walk forward a better person, and that includes within that framework your love of self, there really does have to be the reach out and find within yourself first of a necessary versus it being optional and I don't know and unclaimed of self-forgiveness for the rest of your life by letting other people off the hook. I think it's more important to forgive yourself so as you might be able to forgive others. But for those that don't want to work on it and don't want to show up getting conscienced, sorry, I have decided to love self and walk into a better future one because I do, including if it is against family. I'm the only person amidst 30 people that has this kind of mind sore going on in my life. I can't go to family, not really, with this kind of wayward. And it's sad to let those folks go, but yet at the same time, my being this wayward of mind sore is literally helping to save my life.
Thank you, Jane,
Sorry.
for that. Wow. Wow, that's really powerful. Thank you for your share. Amy?
Wow, yes, thank you so much, Jane. It's so nice to meet you here today. And you know, what you're just mentioning about family, I think a lot of us are in that similar situation, and that's why one of the reasons why Rini started this group. So this is definitely a great place of women supporting each other. And it's just, this is such a powerful call this is turning into today. And I just love your terminology and your use of words. I absolutely love this term, reverse engineering, because I really believe we can all apply that one. That's a great one, absolutely. And I'm just relating so much with everything going on here. And Jane Fairchild had brought up what she was just talking about, reminded me of this phrase, this catchphrase that I've kind of seen resurfacing lately, which is hurt people hurt people. And when I first heard it, I was like, okay, I get it. And I had to Google the origins of the word, the phrase, which I can't remember the man's name, but it did come from a book. But he said this phrase in the sense of, well, hurt people, so think before you speak. But unfortunately, I can see, you know, narcissistic and very toxic, you know, people that want to blame everything and everyone for why they are the way they are, taking that term and twisting it into like, oh, well, you know, I'm hurt, so of course I hurt you. I'm hurt, you know, but that wasn't the intention of it, you know. And yeah, Jane Wallace, like you were saying, it is unfortunate. There are going to be those people that will never gain any self-awareness, and it is best for us to just, you know, I like to say, love them from afar. You know, my friend has a saying that she says to you know, people that she doesn't want in her immediate life. She says, God bless them, but keep them away from me. So hope that was enlightening for you guys.
Thank you, Amy. Yeah, I mean, we have the responsibility to, you know, we can choose, we make decisions. So none of us should feel like a victim, because we are responsible for our lives. And yeah, whatever it is, the solution that you think is best for you, that is what you need to take. So I'd like to hear from Kathleen. You're driving, Kathleen. Can you talk? No? Okay. How about Val?
Let's see, bullied.
Could be in your relationship, Val.
I think it was more, I don't know who talked about the physical aspect. I think it was Suzanne or Jenny also talked about it. But anyways, I lived all my teenage with a bad self-image and a bad physical self-image, because I think I'm, you know, in my personality, I'm courageous. I was courageous even when I was a kid, but I had like this, you know, bad physical self-image. And that came like, I don't know if I've ever shared that in that mastermind, but maybe I did. It doesn't, because now I've overcome all this. So, but basically, you know, I was born, you know, I was like a hairy baby. Like the nurses could make some little buns with my hair when I was like, you know, a few weeks either. I had so much hair, but also I had hair on my back, along my spine. And that, you know, it's something that is behind your back. So mindful as a child, developing with that kind of, you know, when it was time to learn swimming, well, we had to be in bathing suit, and I always made sure that my back would be against the wall. I mean, it was a constant, you know, when I was in certain environments. And then finally they disappear as I grow up, which is what the doctor told my mom. It'll disappear when she grows up. And thank God, I'm so grateful that, yeah, growing up with those feelings of inferiority and bad self-image can take a toll in some ways in my development as an adult, on how I feel, you know, what makes me feel safe, what makes me feel happy. I focus on those things. And, you know, even, I don't mean to be religious or not, or something, but, you know, Jesus says, for those who don't see it, well, brush your teeth and go. You know, just do your thing. You know, follow your dreams, follow what makes you feel good. And inner peace, I think, you know, is to me a good finding inner peace, experiencing inner peace, where, you know, we feel safe. That's what I'm experiencing right now in my life. So I'm very grateful for that, because it was not so long ago, last year, you know, it was shaky environment, should I say the least. But I'm grateful I could overcome that, and that is thanks to personal development. So what we're all doing here with our inabilities or incapacities or low self-esteem, low self-image, things that are, you know, imprinted in our mind, that it's not gonna be, you know, I'm never gonna reach it. You know, I have big dreams, and I every day, you know, I practice, you know, with gratitude, with with time where I spend time loving me, you know, because God created me, God loves me, so I gotta love me. And see, if I love me, I love God too. So being part of the creation, I spend time, you know, meditating on that in the morning, and that boosts my self-esteem. That definitely gives me inner powers, you know. I was in my other mastermind that I do. One day we'll have, hopefully on the 19th, that's my coach Erica Hill. She'll facilitate a mastermind here on May 19th. But thanks to her, this whole past year, I put so much order in my mind, so much more confidence, so much more clarity into what I'm thinking. What am I thinking today? Because every day when we wake up, boom, you know, I mean, the subconscious mind keep going at night. So that is even, so, you know, spending time at night to envisioneering. And I know, I mean, we are, our brain, the way we are engineered, I want to come, thank you, Jenny, for this terminology. The way we're engineered is magnificent. And that is what Thomas Troward talks about in the spirit of opulence. Opulence in all ways of who we are as human beings, that we have the potential to be who we want to be. It's up to us to overcome the obstacles along the way. But we are not given obstacles that we cannot overcome. Otherwise, there would be no obstacles. And it's through obstacles that we grow, as we know, going higher, faster, or wiser, wealthier, healthier too. So, yes.
That's amazing,
Thank you.
Val. Thank you. My mindset is key in really in everything. You know, like you said, first thing in the morning, you know, practice your gratitude, your affirmation, all of that. I think help you to boost your self-confidence and move forward with your day. That you're going to make a decision. I'm going to be happy today. I'm going to have a great day. And so it is, because whatever you think you can, or you think you cannot, that's what you get. So especially if we're trying to grow our business or whatever it is we're trying to do, I mean, to have that awareness and a mindset, positive mindset, it's very hard. It's not always like that, but you know, to make a decision that is what you're going to be, or how you're going to be projecting throughout the day. And that's how you move forward with your day. So thank you, Val, for that. Amy, I see your hands up. Oh, it wasn't.
Sorry, I must have forgot to put it down.
Oh, okay. Courtney, we haven't heard from you. Is there something you'd like to share? Listening to all of these conversations, so happy to have you here. Courtney, are you there? Oh, can't talk. Okay, no problem. Ria, I'm coming back to you. Listening to all of these, what are your thoughts?
Well, in fact, it's exactly what came out of the research that I was doing. And yes, of course, bullying it's much larger than only at school. But I wanted to make it rather specific, because I like to work with children, or parents with children. And it's true that you find yourself different, and in fact it's a confirmation from the outside world that they make jokes about it, and you say to yourself, yes, they are right, it's true. And then it's getting more and more, and that's why it started really to be bullying. And for me, it's interesting as well. How can you step out? And I know by music and sometimes by theater. Theater is only when you love to play, because when you are doing it just to have more self-confidence, but the confidence is not there, then it's really very hard. So they will leave you by the side, and that is not really a very good therapy to start with. Only when you really love to do theater. And yeah, I'm passionate for something. So that's what I hear, and I find it really amazing that who was saying that, Susan, that she said, how can I feel better? Because in fact, when you are in the bullying, it's not a question that you say to yourself. So you must really very strong to say that to yourself, to understand there must be another way. Because when you are in it, it's really very hard to step out, and most of the times you don't see a way to step out. So if you are not reaching for help, it really is very hard to step out. They step out, but at the end of their lives sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Suzanne.
I was gonna say, yeah, sometimes when you have the home life that doesn't accept you, you're almost pushed to find a way. And I know that so many people were like, maybe it was being inquisitive all the time of my mom and not getting the answers from her. I kept on looking, okay, where can I find the answers? If I'm not going to get it from my home, where can I find the answers I need? And when I kept on bumping up, I like to call it like the pinball machine. I would bump up against a different obstacle, a different section, and like, oh, sports. No, that's not making me feel good. I feel uncoordinated. Okay, it's not sports. So I would keep bumping up against different stimuli. And then when I hit the chorus in fourth grade, and I discovered how much I like to sing, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, here's something. And I kept on exploring music through chorus. And then I got into junior high school and I did more chorus. Okay, I feel good. There's something about music that feels good. And even though, it's not a deeper feeling, it's just that, whoa, I feel talent. I feel good. Okay, there's something good here. So yeah, it's a matter of when you know that something's not working as a kid, you try and find something that does work. And you do feel like a pinball machine for a while, trying to find that right stimuli that's gonna turn you on and say, oh, okay, I can do this. And that's where I got into it.
Someone was motivating you. Someone gave you compliments that you were that you have a beautiful voice.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
it.
Empowerment. When someone
Yeah.
gives you a compliment, you kind of
Yes.
want to stay around that person longer.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, so glad that you found that music that, kind of like an outlet for you. But oftentimes bullying as a child can carry you through adulthood. How you feel about your self-esteem when you're bullied when you're young, that it will impact your life for a long, long time. You remember that even when, as an adult that happened to you, and sometimes makes you feel like you're less than. But Amy, I see your hands up.
I just wanted to say, Ria, thank you so much for your, professional contribution here. And I also have, something in my heart for children because of myself as a child and the way I grew up and always being put down. And it's so difficult, when a child is raised in that environment where they are kind of always just beaten down, whether it be emotionally, mentally, physically is horrible as well. But Suzanne, I think you're so lucky that happened for you. That's amazing. I'm so glad that you found an outlet in that way. But I think what happens, and I don't even know with children how difficult it would even be for them to work themselves through it, because myself as an adult, I just now in the past few years am able to be in this place of standing within my own sovereignty and, you know, putting up that shield and that barrier against other people's opinions. You know, it's very difficult, you know, but it is possible. That's the whole thing, you know, is spreading the awareness that it is possible, but it does all come down to each individual person, like going within themselves and building that strength within themselves. And again, Rini, thank you so much for this group and this amazing, empowering, free flow conversation we're having today. Ria, you're here for a reason. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely.
So,
And
yeah,
I
so
relate
great.
to that, what you are saying, because in fact, I was bullied at school as well. However, I did not see it as bullying. And when I did these interviews, they told me over and over again. And when I start to write my book, then I saw my whole history. And I thought, oh my gosh, I was bullied as well. And yes, I felt very lonely and put aside. I was not playing with other children because I was afraid about the comment that they were giving me. And because I had red hair, and now I'm looking for the painter for the red hair. But in these days, I was the only girl in the whole school. I was the only one at home who had this kind of color. So I really felt very different than the rest. And I felt like that I was coming from another planet, in fact. And yes, it took me years, and I'm glad that I was married to a man who was really very loving, and he was always saying that I was beautiful, but I didn't believe it. I find myself ugly, and I didn't have any self-esteem. So it took me years and years to work with that, because the belief system was not there. And that's what I like to work with children, to give them this belief system that they are beautiful and that they are talented, and that yes, of course, it will be there always, because it's a group phenomenon as well. But we can learn them to have loving speech, loving talking. I don't know exactly how you say it, talking in a loving way. And that's why it is my desire to do something for children, to save them years.
That's so awesome, Ria. I mean, this is amazing. You know, here we came here, and Nikki's not here. Maybe it's meant to be this topic. It's so relevant and so amazing that many of us could relate. Before I go to you, Suzanne, I see Jane's hand. What's up, Jane? Oh, you want to say something? Maybe I don't know if I say your name right, Jane Wallace.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it's just Anne with the J in front of it, so it's been called Jan.
Okay, Jen.
There's more. I call myself Jan. Other people call me Jan. It sure beats being called Peter or James. I don't know where you get Peter out of J-A-N-N-E, but maybe the professor that was mentioning that one time just was having an off moment or something. Anyway, there are a couple of movies that feature one of my favorite actors of all time, Jeffrey Rush, portraying. One was that brilliant True Story. Well, they're actually both true. They're actually both portrayals of true stories. One is about the phenom musical genius that got from his father on down bullied, and it had him go crazy. And that was the movie portraying David Heathcote, again, a real-time true story person, in that movie called Shine, which came out a couple of years ago. If you haven't seen it, you've got to take a look at it to learn about working through being bullied through your parent. And it's nothing to do with oh, it's only through the Germanic that gets learned and this and that and kind of excused away. It just happens to be that his dad was a Nazi camp survivor, and he was pushing his kid to play tough pieces, and young David had learned how to play really well, and it still wasn't good enough for dad, and he had to eventually move away from father. But as he did through college, there was changes going on with him that is starting to show a sign of being crazy or losing his mind. And the key thing that came out was how well he could play, and the music that would run through him inevitably led to a wonderful wife. And walking forward with her, there was this gorgeous interaction with them. And there's a whole lot more to it, but chordally, love and how that brilliance of what comes through it wins. It wins embodiment, supersedes even madness that can run inside of that mind to beautiful, wonderful things. And then the other one that Geoffrey Rush is in is The King's Speech. I couldn't stop crying, and even thinking of it now, just the King of England. How could he have a self-esteem problem? He's born with access, and he didn't know how to get it out of his sense of self. And here comes this wonderful teacher that in essence shows him how he can. It just
What's the name of the
you see
movie
stuff
again?
like that. You need to one needs to see stuff like that to really get a nugget happening in them that they can win their love of self, and it's worth the fight, if for nothing else. It's called The King's Speech. Geoffrey Rush and Colin Firth and Helena Bonham Carter plays the King of England. I think it had Oscar nominations.
I think I saw the beginning of that.
Yeah.
Colin Firth would
it's-
be very good in that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jen, for sharing that. Wow, so powerful. Suzanne, go ahead.
I was just going to say, kind of a wrap up. When I first started my coaching and coming from the pain I had come in from my family of the lack of positive supportive language, I found a great quote from Napoleon Hill that I put onto my website. And it is, think twice before you speak, for the words that you use can plant the seed of success or failure in the mind of another. And I'm like, that's all about it. It's all about empowerment. Whether or not a parent picks, well, if a parent doesn't stop to filter their language and say, will this hurt my child? And do I care? Or will it support my child? And I do care because I love them. That's all the difference that a child needs to take off. And I felt the lack of that empowerment. I felt the neglect, the ignorance. And so I didn't get that. But when I found that quote, I'm like, oh, wow, this is great. So it's think twice before you speak, for your words can plant the seed of success or failure in the mind of another. And that's Napoleon Hill. And what a great quote that is.
So true about that, Suzanne. We're running out of time. We're at the top of the hour now, but I am just so grateful for this group, for this topic. And Ria, thank you so much for sharing, about your book and the topic, because now, Nikki may have to reschedule her time, but I'm so grateful for all of you. And, Jan, for you being here and your contribution. Courtney, I know you can't talk because you're probably at work, but all of you, Amy, Kathleen, Val, of course, Suzanne, and then Jane, who I haven't seen in a while. But so grateful for all of you. Next week's topic is Financial Literacy for Women by Erica Hill, Val's friend, who will be presenting next week. So I'm going to ask Ria, do you have last minute thing you want to say before we close, or anybody else? If you'd like to speak, raise your hand. Go ahead, Ria.
Well, oh. When we
Well,
have a moment,
I
I'd
just
like to
want to
talk.
thank you to be in this group. And in fact, yes, it was an amazing conversation. I didn't expect this, but it was really very nice. All these sharings about this feeling, to be open, to be vulnerable. I think it really is an amazing group, and I want to thank everyone.
Come back again. Thank you for being here. Jan, go ahead.
Oh,
Jan?
sorry. Yeah, sorry. I appreciate this group. I didn't know it could do this. I didn't know that this group would be of these avenues of self-discovery and working things out to have your life work more for you than just trot against only being able to be at the effect of reacting. So much more powerful than that. And it goes to show that that is what is going on here in this group. So thank you, Rini, for forming it.
Thank you, all of you. And Suzanne, you have any last minute thing you want to say?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you for
so
the time.
grateful for all of you, and I hope that you have a great week and come back again next week. Hope to see all of you next week. And Kathleen, yes, I know you can't talk, but yes, thank you all. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you.
Have a great
Very
day,
nice.
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Thank
Have
you.
a great week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.